I think it is a very big challenge to the world order to have a country emerge on such an enormous scale. 1,300 million people, nearly one quarter of humanity, or 1/5, and going from poverty to almost middle income level within one generation and a little bit. It means a very big change in economic relationships, in the strategic layer of the land, and in the power balance. And to do that in a peaceful, stable way, to reach a new equilibrium, is not easy. I think with America, it has been managed quite well. There are ups and downs, and there are issues and disputes, and there will continue to be, because these are two big powers, and you have important interests to safeguard and to advance. But you also have very important shared interests: trade, people links, financial investments. American investments in China are in the many tens of billions. Chinese investments in America, just counting Treasury securities, you're talking about $2 trillion. So I don't think the Chinese want their Treasury securities to be derated, and I don't think the Americans want their investments in China to be at risk. So there are important shared interests. Doesn't mean that they will definitely prevail, but it gives a powerful incentive for the two countries to work together in a constructive way. And it has to be an active engagement. It cannot be one where one side takes on the role which the other used to play. It cannot be one where you are dividing the world into a G2. I think neither side feels comfortable with the term G2. And it also doesn't want to be the one where you're skirmishing over issues all of the time. But one where China is engaged, America is engaged, you have good bilateral relations, and you have a situation where third countries, including small ones like Singapore, can be friends with both. And so far, we have managed to be friends with both. Now, Europe, I think Europe's preoccupations are more economic. You have geopolitical concerns, but they have more to do with the Eurasian area, and Europe, Russia, Ukraine, and less so in the Far East. But Europe has important economic interests in the Far East too. And if you look at European leaders, whether it's David Cameron, whether it's Merkel, whether it's the French presidents, I think they pay a lot of attention to the Chinese market, to Chinese ties with them, and to visiting China and making sure that they keep on side with China. And it's not just because of Airbus, but many different items. So I think that they are working at it. And in an earlier phase, there was a lot of anxiety over trade because the Europeans worried about all sorts of things: shoes made in Italy, candles made in Spain, television sets made in France. I think that part of the trade issues have now subsided. The relations have grown. And I think what is necessary for Europe to respond to is not just to trade with China, but to realize that this is a very powerful economy coming along, and it may steal your lunch. And you have to upgrade, you have to reform, you have to do some things to your social security and welfare systems, which are quite painful to do. But in this new world, to be competitive, these are changes which have to be made. And I think that argument has yet to sink home with the European electorates, although it has certainly registered with the European elite and the leaders.